Good evening. Welcome to our service of Tenenbrae. Tenenbrae just means in Latin shadows, so it's a service of shadows. It's typically a service that we do on Maundy Thursday or Good Friday of Holy Week. Tonight, you'll hear 8 Bible readings as we take that walk with Jesus, getting closer and closer to the cross. At the end of each reading, we always extinguish a candle as it gets darker and darker. This year, when things can feel really difficult in our world because of the pandemic and because some of us feel isolated, it's a good time to be a part of this service, to remember that our job is to walk with Christ as he gets closer to the cross, because we know that Easter's coming. In fact, join us Easter morning for a huge celebration of light and resurrection. But now, be bold enough to walk with Jesus. And never forget, he always walks with you.
The time was early evening, the place a room upstairs. The guests were the disciples, few in number and few in prayers. Oh, the food comes from the baker, the drink comes from the vine. The words come from the Savior, I will meet you in bread and wine. The company of Jesus had met to share a meal. The one who made them welcome had much more to reveal. Oh, the food comes from the baker, the drink comes from the wine. The words come from the Savior, I will meet you in bread and wine.
The bread and body broken, the wine and blood outpoured, the cross and kitchen table are one by my sign and word. Oh, the food comes from the baker, the drink comes from the vine. The words come from the Savior, I will meet you in bread and wine.
Christ Jesus now among us, confirm our faith's intent. As with your words and actions, we unite in this sacrament. Oh, the food comes from the baker, the drink comes from the vine. The words come from the Savior, I will meet you in bread and wine.
The shadow of betrayal, Mark 26.
When it was evening, he took his place with the 12. And while they were eating, he said, "Truly, I tell you, one of you will betray me." And they became greatly distressed and began to say to him, one after another, "Surely, not I, Lord." He answered, "The one who has dipped his hand into the bowl with me will betray me. The Son of Man goes as it is written of him. But woe to that one by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It would have been better for that one not to have been born." Judas, who betrayed him, said, "Surely not I, Rabbi." He replied, "You have said so."
The shadow of desertion. Mark 26.
Then Jesus said to them, "You will all become deserters because of me this night. For it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. But after I am raised up, I will go ahead of you to Galilee." Peter said to him, "Though all become deserters because of you, I will never desert you." Jesus said to him, "Truly I tell you, this very night, before the cock crows, you will deny me 3 times. Peter said to him, "Even though I must die with you, I will not deny you." And so said all the disciples.
The agony of the soul. Luke 22.
He came out and went, as was his custom, to the Mount of Olives, and the disciples followed him. When he reached the place, he said to them, "Pray that you may not come into the time of trial." Then he withdrew from them about a stone's throw, knelt down and prayed, "Father, if you are willing, remove this cup from me. Yet not my will, but yours be done." Then an angel from heaven appeared to him and gave him strength. In his anguish, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat became like great drops of blood falling down on the ground.
The unshared vigil. Mark 14.
Then they went to a place called Gethsemane, and he said to his disciples, "Sit here while I pray." He took with him Peter and James and John, and he began to be distressed and agitated, and said to them, I am deeply grieved, even to death. Remain here and keep awake." And going a little farther, he threw himself on the ground and prayed that, if it were possible, the hour might pass from him. He said, "Abba, Father, for you all things are possible. Remove this cup from me, yet not for what I want, but for what you want." He came and found them sleeping, and he said to Peter, "Simon, are you asleep? Could you not keep awake 1 hour? Keep awake and pray that you may not come into the time of trial. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." And again he went away and prayed, saying the same words. And once more he came and found them sleeping, for their eyes were very heavy, and they did not know what to say to him. He came a 3rd time and said to them, "Are you still sleeping and taking your rest? Enough. The hour has come. The Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners."
Father, the hour has come. From John 17.
After Jesus had spoken these words, he looked up to heaven and said, "Father, the hour has come. Glorify your Son, so that the Son may glorify you, since you have given him authority over all people, to give eternal life to all whom you have given him. And this is eternal life, that they may know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom you have sent. I glorified you on earth by finishing the work that you gave me to do. So now, Father, glorify me in your own presence, with the glory that I had in your presence before the world existed. I have made your name known to those whom you gave me from the world. They were yours, and you gave them to me, and they have kept your word."
That they may be one. John 17.
I am not asking you to take them out of the world, but I ask you to protect them from the evil one. They do not belong to the world, just as I do not belong to the world. Sanctify them in the truth. Your word is truth. As you have sent me into the world, so I have sent them into the world. and for their sakes I sanctify myself, so that they also may be sanctified in truth. I ask not only on behalf of these, but also on behalf of those who will believe in me, though through their word, that they may all be one. As you, Father, are in me, and I am in you, may they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. The glory that you have given me, I have given them, so that they may be one as we are one.
Journey to Gethsemane, go and feel the tempter's power. Your Redeemer's conflict see. Watch the anguish of his hour. Do not hide or turn away. Learn from Jesus how to pray. Follow then to Pilate's hall. View the Lord of life arrayed, crowned with thorns and mocked by all. Faithfully this pain sustained, greater still than shame or loss, Jesus now must face the cross. Calvary's mournful mountain climb, see the Savior lifted high. Mark the miracle of time, God's own child is sacrificed. It is finished, Jesus cries. Learn from Jesus how to die. Early hasten to the tomb, hear the cry of great surprise. Then the silence in the room, Jesus there no longer lies. Christ is risen, realize that with Christ we too may rise.
The arrest at the gate from John 18.
After Jesus had spoken these words, he went out with his disciples across the Kidron Valley to a place where there was a garden, which he and his disciples entered. Now Judas, who betrayed him, also knew the place, because Jesus often met there with his disciples. So Judas brought a detachment of soldiers, together with police from the chief priests and the Pharisees, and they came there with lanterns and torches and weapons. Then Jesus, knowing all that was to happen to him, came forward and asked them, "Whom are you looking for?" They answered, "Jesus of Nazareth." Jesus replied, "I am he." Judas, who betrayed him, was standing with them.
The shadow of the cross, Matthew 15.
Then the soldiers led him into the courtyard of the palace, that is the governor's headquarters, and they called together the whole cohort. And they clothed him in a purple cloak And after twisting some thorns into a crown, they put it on him. And they began saluting him, "Hail, King of the Jews!" They struck his head with a reed, spat upon him, and knelt down in homage to him. After mocking him, they stripped him of the purple cloak and put his own clothes on him. Then they led him out to crucify him.
The Word was God. From the Gospel of John.
Before the world was created, the Word already existed. The Word was with God, and the Word was the same as God. From the beginning, the Word was with God. Through Word, God made all things. Not one thing in all creation was made without the Word. The Word was the source of life, and this brought life, light to humanity. The Word became a human being and, full of grace and truth, lived among us. The Word was in the world, and though God made the world through the world did not recognize the Word. Some, however, did receive the Word and believed in the Word, so the Word gave them the right to become God's children. This is how the judgment works. The light has come into the world, but people love the shadows rather than the light, because their deeds are evil.